Hello dudes, welcome back to the channel. We are talking today about my favorite knife designer, Brian Nadeau, and his knife company, Sharp by Design. First, if you haven't subscribed, please do that now. Follow me on Instagram at duties_daggers as well. You'll be happy that you did, I freaking promise you. I'm very nervous holding this very thick piece of metal above these beautiful knives, some of which are not mine. I'm holding onto it very tightly. So let's put that aside. In fact, I'm going to move that completely off screen just to avoid any possible mishaps here. So, quick recap. I've been a fan of Sharp by Design and Brian Nadeau's knives for a very long time. The Apex here was my first one. Fell in love with it. This is one of my favorite knives in my entire collection. Absolutely love it. When I saw recently that Brian was coming out with the Mini Evo, these two on top here, I sent him a Hail Mary email asking if he would lend me them to have on the channel, and to my great surprise, he got back to me and said yes. He sent me these two. These are the Mini Evo, both blade shapes. We have a drop point and a beautiful wicked-ass Tonto. Those are going to be hitting retailers at the end of February, as far as I know. And then I finally found a Mini Tempest that I wanted. I was waiting for around a year for this specific one to become available on the secondary market. It recently did, and I sold a couple knives so that I could get it. And I am beyond happy with it. I absolutely in love with this knife. It's beautiful. Everything I hoped it would be. And this is the last time that I will have 4 Sharp by Design knives in my possession for probably quite a while, until I acquire 2 more of my own. So I wanted to do a video really kind of closely looking at the Mini Evos here before I have to send them back. This is my last day with them before I send them off to the next reviewer, which is going to be actually Lefty EDC. Kev over at Lefty EDC will be getting these next. So if you want to hear his opinion on them, stay tuned to his channel. I wanted to do a video talking about them and just kind of comparing all of these knives while I have all 4 here. And just kind of talking about Sharp by Design. So let's get into it. Let's start with these Mini Evos, because these are really the star of the show right now, since they're coming out very soon, and they're not mine, they're getting sent away. So, like I said, they are going to become available at sometime at the end of February. I wasn't able to get a specific date, that's all I know. We have the 2 versions here, the drop point and the Tanto, and we have a micarta inlay and a carbon fiber inlay. I am assuming that both blade shapes will be available with either inlay. I'm guessing that is going to be the case. Both inlays look fantastic. This carbon fiber is done perfectly. It's just perfectly inset in there. And there's inlays on both sides, so we have a bit of a bolster lock going on here, with this inlay covering up most of the lock bar, which is really, really fantastic. And that is the case with these other 2 also. The Apex, a little bit less of the lock bar covered up by this aluminum inlay. And then the Mini Tempest, sort of the same as the Mini Evo, the same amount of the lock bar being covered up by the inlay. I think it's a fantastic way to do a titanium frame lock, because you don't have to really worry about putting pressure on the lock bar as you're flipping it. Since it's covered up by the inlay, it just eliminates the headache of, you guys most likely have frame locks. You know that if you go to flip it and you're grabbing too tightly on the opposite side, it kind of, it's pushing the lock bar into the blade, pushing that detent ball into its hole, and it's very hard to flip. Sometimes it's impossible to flip. So that's a very nice detail and something I really appreciate about bolster locks. Now, we have the 2 blade shapes, the drop point and the Tonto. The Tanto here is absolutely wicked looking. We have a hollow grind down here, thin behind the edge, and then the secondary edge up here is quite a bit thicker, which is what you want with a Tanto. It's good for piercing tasks to have a nice strong tip. Then we have a slot in the blade and a fuller and a harpoon, little notch thing going on here with the swedge on either side. Just a beautiful combination of grinds that we're looking at right here. I just love this area in here where they all come together and kind of intermingle with each other. It is so rad looking, man. Super, super rad. This might be one of the most badass Tantos I have ever seen. It's just, it's amazing. This one also, I think, is a little bit more false shut. That's definitely because of the extra weight we have at the tip here. They're both pretty false shut. This one requires a little bit of a shake. This one's much lighter. This one with the extra weight at the tip, I mean, look at that. It's just awesome. And then we have the drop point, which is a little bit of a cleaner look, a little bit more of like a classic knife look, which I'm absolutely in love with. When I go to order mine, it's going to be very hard for me to choose between these two blades. Very hard. I still have not really made up my mind. I lean towards the Tanto one day, and then I look at him again, and I lean towards more the drop point. I don't know, but they're both very, very sexy in their own way. This is a full flat grind. You can see it goes all the way to the top, even past the slot here. Same slot, same fuller, but a little bit different of a swedge. No harpoon notch, and just a regular drop point. Feels very thin behind the edge, too. On both knives, great sharpening choils here. You have, this flipper tab, the way it's kind of angled, creates almost like a catch right in here. It acts sort of like a finger guard. So when you're slicing through material, nothing's going to hit your hand. Sort of a finger guard. Reminds me a little bit of the way that the XM18's flipper tab works. In the open position, it's a finger guard. I really like it. It kind of provides like kind of a more secure grip. Just knowing that your finger right there is protected. It feels good. Let's measure these puppies real quick. I don't know why I said puppies. I've literally never said that before. Overall, 7.5 inches. Blade, 3 1/4. Cutting edge, exact, like 3 inches and a 1/16. And then the handle, pretty much exactly 4 inches. And that's going to be the same with both. Let me see if the Tanto is a little different. It's just over 3 1/4. Nope, they're both exactly the same. The over travel stop is kind of interesting. It's kind of up in this area. You can see their steel lock bar insert kind of extends up past the top of the lock bar there, and it hits. There's a little notch right in here where it hits. You can see that happening right there. I think that's a cool way to do it. I've never seen one exactly like that before. I think it's awesome. Lock bar access is great. You can see actually the insert itself kind of sticks out this way past the lock bar as well, and it's chamfered on this side. So that's kind of what catches your thumb as you're pushing it over. I don't have any problem with the lock bar access here. I think it's perfectly just fine. Also, there's a bit of a chamfer on the opposite side too, give you a little bit more space to get in there. The lock bar relief cut is covered up by the inlay. You can see a little bit showing right in there. I just, inlays on the lock side are so nice because, number one, we have the, what I already talked about, you don't have to worry about putting pressure on the lock bar. And then it's just way easier in and out of the pocket because you're not catching on the lock bar relief cut in here. A problem that I have with not all frame locks, but this frame lock specifically, the Chavez Scapegoat, you can see the lock bar relief cut is right behind the pocket clip right here. So when it's going into your, your seam is passing underneath here, it kind of gets snagged up on these corners right in here, in and out of the pocket. So that's just another benefit of having an inlay on the lock side. I love it. These things are very good in and out of the pocket. Do not feel the clip one single iota. It's like they're not even there. Ergonomics, super good. This jimping, nice and grippy jimping. Very, very nice jimping. We have the classic Brian Nadeau pivot, kind of like a 6-shooter sort of pattern on the pivot. And then the surface of the titanium swells up to meet the pivot. You can see there's a little kind of swelling going on around the pivot, which I really love. It's on both sides. It's on the hardware for a lock bar insert as well. And it's like that on all his knives. You can see it's on the apex and the Mini Tempest. Very, very cool. On the other side of the flipper, you can see Brian put his initials right there on the flipper tab. On the Mini Tempest, it's right up there on the blade. And on the apex, it's nowhere to be found. I don't really know why. Just maybe decided he didn't want to do it. Or maybe there wasn't a very good spot for it. That might have been the case. Couldn't have put it up there on the blade. The flipper tab is a little bit smaller, so not really a good spot. That's probably why. There wasn't just a perfect spot for it. So that's... oh, wait, no, we need to talk about the action. Duh. These Mini Evos have the crispiest detent I've ever felt, period. Hands down, let me get some more light in here. Hands down, without question, the crispiest detent I've ever felt. You can hear two distinct clicks. One is the detent nub breaking, the blade breaking free of the detent nub right here. And then the second one is it locking out. Brian Nadeau's detent nub. It's not a detent ball. It's a nub that's, like a little ridge that's at the very top of the lock bar insert. See it? Hopefully you're seeing it right in there. The advantages of the nub is super duper crisp breakaway. Super duper crisp, just excellent detent. There's also no double clutch, so when you disengage, you're already that nub is already on the tang of the blade. You don't have to try to get past that before you swing it shut. It's always either locked out or the nub is on the tang of the blade. There's a little ramp, so you can see it kind of like sucks itself locked if it's close. Really, really cool. It's amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. You don't know exactly how it is until you get to experience one, and I really encourage you to experience it if you can. Just save up your money. Just even if it takes you forever, you need to experience this detent. I'm telling you, it's insane. Absolutely insane. So, that's a quick overview on the Mini Evos. The Apex. This was my first Sharp by Design knife, and it was previously the best detent I had ever felt. This one was. Until I felt the Mini Evos. But I understand why it's different, because the detent on the Apex here has to be tuned for both a flipper tab and the reverse flick. So it can't be the same kind of strength of detent as you have on a flipper-only knife, which the Mini Evos are. So it's just different. But still, before I tried these, this was the best detent I had ever felt. So that's still saying quite a lot. I love the Apex. This was my first one. I absolutely love it. This is the Tonto version, the flipper Tonto version. There's also a front flipper version of this knife, and there's also drop points. So similar to the Mini Evos, there's going to be a Tonto and a drop point. Same with the Apexes. And there's actually still a few available of, I don't think all versions, but a few versions on a couple different retailers. I'll link them down below. Reverse flick, absolutely excellent. Just some of the best reverse flicks I've ever experienced are on the Apex. It's crispy, it's snappy, it's amazing. bit bigger than the Mini Evo, so a little bit heavier, obviously. I love the knife. The pocket clip, not the most comfy thing in the world. Since it's kind of positioned up here towards the top of the knife, it's not comfortable. I actually recently kind of rounded off the edge here a little bit. I did a good job because you can't really tell that I even did anything. But this used to be sharper up here, and this edge used to be sharper. And now it's quite a bit better. Much, much, much better. Before I did that, if you gripped it as hard as you could, it would kind of dig into your hand a little bit. So there's that. And then we have the Mini Tempest, the beauty. I'm obsessed with this knife right now. It's just, gosh, it's amazing. We have a hand-rubbed satin finish on the blade, which none of these other three have. It's a front flipper, primarily a front flipper, but you can sort of get into the fuller here for the reverse flick. Amazingly smooth. This carbon fiber, gosh, the most beautiful carbon fiber I've ever seen. This came in multiple options, different carbon fiber, plain tie. This is the black PVD coated titanium, and the drop point. This came in a Bowie and a Tonto as well. I am so amazed at this knife. I can't really front flip it right-handed how I want because I have a nasty split on my thumb, and it's right where I go to front flip, and it hurts too much. So I got to go back here or do it left-handed. But this front flipper is just, it's bonkers, dude. It's bonkers crazy good. It's just, he has the best detents, period. So imagine the best detent you've ever felt and put that on a front flipper. And that's what this feels like. It feels insanely good. Ergonomics, insane, just incredible. This is the perfect size knife, I think, for me, for EDC, for everything, really. This is just the perfect knife design. I mean, look at it. It's sleek. It's a front flipper, so you don't have any flipper tabs or thumb studs getting in the way. Just a clean cutting path. Nothing in the way of the ergonomics. You can even choke up here if you want. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful knife. This is probably my favorite Sharp by Design knife. Even having experienced all of these, I think the Mini Tempest is my personal favorite. But they are all so good, man. These are made by Riot, widely considered to be the best overseas manufacturer of knives. So there's that. And then the genius of Brian Nadeau, Riot is interpreting, not interpreting, but, putting his plans and his drawings and his, files, CAD files, putting them into reality. And they did a fantastic job. Now, Brian makes knives as well. He, before he had these production knives made by Riot, he'd had custom knives. Do yourself a favor and look up Brian Nadeau or Sharp by Design custom knives, specifically the custom Arch Nemesis. They are literally the most mind-blowing photos of a knife I've ever seen. Hands down, just the level of detail is absolutely astounding. It's astounding. The materials he uses, it's out of this world crazy. So, these are his production versions of some of his knives. I don't think he does custom versions of these specific ones, but, it's just, imagine how good these production knives are. Now put that level of good times, I'm sure, probably like 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, I don't even know, for his custom knives. They're going to be that much better, and these are already just mind-blowingly good. It's crazy to think about, So anyways, that's enough gushing over Sharp by Design stuff, but I just wanted to show you these 4 knives all together because this is the last time that these 4 knives specifically are going to be together. Like I said, if you haven't experienced a Sharp by Design try to do it if you can. You will be amazed at the detents. You will be amazed at the fit and finish. You'll be amazed at the just the overall design, you know? This is such a crazy design, this Apex in particular. Like, holes in the blade, and the handle on the blade, it just looks so futuristic. It looks like a knife you'd see in, like, Logan's Run, or, I don't know, Star Trek or Star Wars or something sci-fi, you know? You know, the Mini Evos, just such a classic knife design, but with spice and just mind-blowingly crisp action. The Mini Tempest, super sleek. I would call it possibly the perfect knife profile. Just excellently designed, all of them. And I'm a massive, huge fan. I would love to eventually have all of his production knives in the collection. And possibly one day a custom, if I could make that happen. It would be a dream come true. So, that's it. Keep an eye out for the Mini Evos dropping end of February. They should hit all major retailers, I would imagine. The Apex did hit all major retailers, most of them. They're probably going to go fast. I don't know. But make sure you stay up to date on it. Follow Brian at Sharp by Design on Instagram. And thanks for watching. I love you guys. Peace and love. See you in the next video. Peace.